After a prototype test in 1901, Wilbur Wright told his brother he doesn't estimate that man would fly for another 50 years. But 2 years later, the two of them took flight. This demonstrates the audacity, the willpower, the persistence, and the entrepreneurial spirit that is America. Today is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, and I wanted to honor that by doing an overview of many of the successes, failures, and overall sentiment of where we're currently at and where we need to go. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with a lot of the stories as we grew up taking American history, but I really want to focus on the people. And what really makes America is the collective. So we obviously start with a little bit of David and Goliath's story, where colonists opposed their colonizer Britain, able to stake claim and independence from the country. Now, obviously, this takes a lot of courage. This takes collective coming together. And you're going to see a theme throughout history of small groups organizing, coming together for the greater good of humanity. And that's really what the American experience is about. One of the greatest acts in American history is the framing of the Constitution. This document has stood as the backbone of American society. The idea is that this document changes with time. So organized groups and collective society elects officials that will ratify this document based on what the current day and future demands of society needs. And this is really the law above all laws. Then after that, in the mid-1800s, America was one of the first countries to abolish slavery. And this truly aligned with the intentions of the framers of the Constitution that every man be equal and have access to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. We can do the things that we see fair, we see just, we see equitable, but since everybody has a different idea of what that is, collectively as a group, we can come up with programs, incentives, and laws to bolster up what we deem as just, but there's always going to be disagreement. We will never truly reach that point. However, as I mentioned earlier in the story with Wilbur Wright, although it's something we can never attain, that doesn't mean it's not worth striving for. So as we continue down this path, our objective should be to show empathy, to listen, to understand, and build a society and world that's better off for everyone. In the last 250 years, America has been that beacon of light. We have been at the forefront of civil rights, of human rights, technological advancement, and the progress of society. Another example in the women's suffrage movement. At the time, over 20 countries globally had already went through the women's suffrage movement, but you can see once again, as a large nation with many people, we're still one of the first actors to move on many of these movements. And I too want to speak on some of the downfalls we've seen throughout the country. A lot of these movements had to occur due to the lack of collective agreement on civil liberties such as slavery, women's rights, and the Jim Crow era, which led into civil rights movements. So the main message I'm trying to point across is we are imperfect people. Collectively, we are imperfect, but if we work together, we can create a society that is great and that embraces change and drives the future of humanity forward. Now, there's obviously so much I could cover in a short amount of time. To conclude the video, I'd like to highlight some of the greatest technological advancements that the people of our country have contributed to society. In no particular order, we created the internet, the airplane, the light bulb, microchips, GPS systems, the personal computer, the telephone, assembly lines and mass production, vaccine technology, and the smartphone. I hope this encourages you to be optimistic for the future of our country and is a quick reminder that we are not perfect. We're only human, but collectively we can be great. Thanks, and happy 250th America.